back, everybody.
Thanks, Chet. Chet, on media day, you mentioned just having an open-minded approach. What does that look like in the first few days of practice? It's sort of just this big clean slate, and you got to start kind of writing the story of the season these first few days.
Yeah, just coming into everything with an open mind, understanding that as much as we're learning, the coaches are learning too. They're trying new things, seeing how they look, and when you try new things, you got to work out the kinks. So everybody's got to have an open mind and a willingness to, understand that there's going to be mistakes, but we're going to continue to improve them until they're up to our standards.
Something Sam talks about is the team is constantly evolving, even if there's no new faces. How do you feel like maybe you've evolved, even in the last 4 or 5 months since we last saw you in a game?
Yeah, I've just continued to do what I always do, which is show up every day and work and continue to understand that I have to get better. And I'm doing that in a lot of different areas, from the weight room to on the court to with my diet, sleep schedule, whatever it might be. Just trying to do everything I can to continue to be better.
Chet, I know at media day you said that you hadn't gotten a chance to really visualize what the team wanted you to be more of a playmaker could look like until you get on the floor. Now it's been 2 days. I know it's a small sample size, but how are they trying to use you as more of a playmaker?
I'd say right now we're putting in a lot of the basics. We're not getting to all the fancy stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm out there to be aggressive and make plays and make winning plays for our team, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's not going to be any different than before. As the season evolves and as we go on, and as I continue to earn the opportunity in different spots on the floor, I'm sure that'll evolve, but it's on me to go out there and make winning plays, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Who'd you run with today?
Who's on my team?
Mm-hmm.
Today was me, Shea, Flag, McCormick, DJ, and who am I missing? The team's moving around. We had Mal on our team for a little bit, and then he had to switch teams because somebody had to sit down or something, or I don't know, take back. I don't know, but it was moving around a little bit. But that was our squad for the most part.
Did y'all win most of the game?
Yes, all of them. But I'm gonna say it in a polite way. So
What?
yeah.
Mark mentioned how he's more of an observer the first few days and let you guys correct your own mistakes. How much does that help you guys as a team to be able to not have an overcorrection?
It's always great. There's different styles of coaching, and he's definitely a coach that gives you a lot of freedom. Obviously, there's an extent to that. He's going to pull on the reins if he doesn't trust what you're trying to do with the freedom. As long as he trusts that you're trying to make winning plays and make the right play at all times, he's going to give you freedom to, go out there and try to make winning plays. And, that's great to not, every time you miss a shot, feel like somebody's breathing down your back and not have to look over your shoulder. So, it's great. Credit to him. And, it's on us to understand that and not kind of take it and run too far with it.
And Shay said the first day was you guys were composed and not too antsy, not too excited. How hard is that when it's like the first day of school for starting the season?
It can go one or two ways. As you gain more experience, you kind of understand. I definitely say I felt different coming into this year than last year. Knowing more what to expect and kind of how the days roll as the season goes on. Last year everything was so new and everything was amplified. But I kind of understand the bigger picture now, and I'm sure some of our guys on our team that are new to the league are feeling that same way, and it's kind of on all of us to make sure that we're all on the same page with that understanding of how long the season is, and understand that we have to come in and maximize every day, but also understanding that this is not the NBA championship. So we got to come in here and work to get better, and understand that if we stack enough days like that, we'll be in a good spot down the line.
Games are pretty limited when you guys went double big with you and Jay Will. There's a lot of anticipation with you and iHeart this year. What's sort of the, situation or process for you to get, ready for that since you haven't really done a lot of double big since like college?
No different than anything else that I gotta work and prepare at. Get in the film room, get on the court, understand the situations, what they're gonna look like, and be prepared to play out of those situations and be effective in them whenever they arise.
Sean, what's been your early impressions of Dylan Jones so far?
You said DJ?
Yeah.
Great player. Hard worker. He's in the position I was in last year. It's a lot coming at you real quick, and you got to be able to kind of compute a lot going on, remember a lot, and he's doing a great job of not only taking in everything that's new, but also working through any mistakes that he might have, and keeping an open mind to continuing to get better and learning everything that we're throwing in. A lot of it's new for the returning guys as well. But credit to him for really sticking at it.
Chair, Alex was saying yesterday that you had done a good job of being vocal. I just wonder, what kind of significance are you putting in that, and how much have you maybe grown on that front?
100%. Just trying to be a leader. We got A-class dudes on this team, but I don't think you'd compare anybody on this team to KG or anybody who's like super up and rowdy and loud, and when you show up you're gonna hear him screaming all day. So just trying to be vocal out there, be a leader, kind of step into that role of helping get everybody on the same page. And that starts with me. I got to be accountable to myself, make sure I'm doing all the right things before I can try and pull anybody along with me. So
Jalen, Alex Caruso yesterday was just talking about how much he's enjoyed getting to know all the personalities on the team, and how everyone's made him feel so welcome. What's it like, bringing some new faces into the team, into the locker room, and given the culture that you guys already had together, making you guys feel that way?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head. Just that's the culture of our team, and kind of the nature of the locker room. AC is cool too, so I think that helps when you have a good person coming into a good locker room. It's a pretty easy mix.
What's it been like seeing all your teammates come back after the work they put in this summer, and kind of seeing how they've evolved over the last 4 months or so?
It's good. This is like the messy part of training camp where everybody's trying to figure out what they worked on and how to fit into being a good team. So it's probably the most fun that we'll have because everybody just gets to try stuff and you get a big leash to just kind of do whatever to a certain extent. So it's been fun. We also have a group of guys that we know everybody works out in the summer and takes it serious. So it's always like a good little mesh, and everybody's super unselfish. So it makes it easy to play during the training camp.
Was there anything particular that you wanted to unleash and show your teammates the first couple of days?
Have a good attitude, playing hard, competing, trying to do like all the intangible stuff as far as that. I feel like I don't really need to prove anything to my teammates.
When Alex was trying to describe your personality yesterday, he was saying that, you might blur out random things, or you're just funny in a way that just, he kind of shakes his head. When guys try to describe your personality and they arrive at stuff like that, just what do you think?
Pretty spot on. I don't know. I feel like that's probably a pretty good description. I don't know. That's my answer actually. It's probably spot on there.
Would you run with today?
Who was on my team?
Mm-hmm.
It was actually me, AC, Lou, Wiggs, and Alex actually, and Oos was on our team.
Anybody stand out today? Oh, so far, like against it in today.
AJ's been very good. Something with the mid-major guys. Just, pretty good basketball players.
You just mentioned the guys that were on your team. I mean, the sheer volume of wing defenders in a lineup like that. Sam had talked about sort of there being an amplifying effect that can happen when you have multiple of those types of defenders on the floor at the same time. What's your sense of what that dynamic could be like?
Well, it's hard to score in practice. I think that alone makes us better offensively. You have lineups where it's like, it could be, our teams are just like, you heard my team I just said, it's like, who do you really attack in practice? And then it's like, if you go on the other end, it's Shea, Chet, and Hartenstein, and Queso. You know what I mean? It's like kind of everybody that you don't want to guard you is on the other team. So it's been a good dynamic for pushing our offense, and it really forces you to kind of play the right way in practice. And then obviously when we get to a game, it might be one of those things where it gets a little easier.
What you see from Alex and Lou as far as how they play off each other?
I mean, they were both on my team today, so I just kind of got to sit there and help and watch, which was great. They complement each other really well. I feel like Shea's probably a better person to ask because they're switching on to him every other possession. So it's been a cool dynamic to kind of watch them defensively compete with it. And then obviously you have guys like Queso, Chet, me. You kind of have a whole team, so it's a good dynamic.
How much does it help you that you're practicing against like some of the best defenders in the entire NBA? Like you're getting practice reps that are better than against some teams probably.
Yeah, like I said, it just helps everybody, not even myself, but just offensively, everybody has to play the right way. And that's kind of what the summer was for too. So now I kind of know what works, what doesn't. And like you said, it's like practice reps on a high level defender, and you kind of get that every day. So it only makes you better.
Jalen, how have you seen Dylan Jones used kind of the positions that he can fill and your early impressions of him?
He plays really well within our team. Has good change of pace. Just really solid. I feel like that's kind of the common thing with our team is everybody can kind of, I don't want to say fit a role, but everybody kind of knows how to change their game to be successful and, kind of benefit the team, and he's done a really good job of that.
Chet was just here saying that this team doesn't really have a KG in terms of like a fiery personality that comes in here and you hear him immediately. How have you seen him maybe kind of step up and take some of that responsibility to be vocal and be kind of a leader?
There's only one Kevin Garnett, so and we don't have it. But Chet's definitely more vocal this year. Chet's been vocal this whole entire time. I think now it's just more focused vocalization. Kind of being able to talk out the coverages, being more confident in that, understanding his positioning. His first year, for example, just maybe not bumping guys out all the time so he can stay low, like doing like little stuff like that and communicating that through like the rest of the teams, the new guys he's been really good with. AC is another one that kind of pushes us to talk, kind of taking on that old head road, that role for us. So does a lot of good things. But yeah, Chet's been more vocal just on the court as far as talking through defensive coverages, and it's been helpful.
Speaking of being vocal, I don't know if you saw the clip with Trey Murphy where he said that you talk about as much as anyone in the entire league, and he said not even trash talk, it's just like conversational. Has that always been a thing in your game?
I don't know. Usually sometimes they mess up and they tell me they play. So I don't know. Maybe don't talk back to me. I don't know. Usually sometimes it's like guys that I know. Me and Trey are pretty cool, so you only see him. He's probably not a good example. We played the Pelicans like 100 times last year, but it's usually guys that you don't see very often that you're cool with, so kind of use little parts of the game to catch up and whatnot. But, other times might slip up and say something wrong, and that's how you kind of get a competitive advantage.
So you're using your friendships against them right now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so we'll see, but I don't say nothing about our team. So.
Sam was asked about kind of next steps in J-Dub's game. He said it was kind of an open blank slate there. What are you noticing maybe so far about some things that he may have worked on over the summer? I know it's obviously very early, but any tracks that you feel like he might be headed down in terms of trying to improve?
The guys like him and Shea, the guys that play so much and have had so many minutes, their development becomes more nuanced pretty quickly. And that's probably the stage that he's at, mainly because of how complete he kind of has been even this early in his career. I'd like to see him shoot more threes. I think with how he shoots it and with how he drives it, if he can shoot threes and force people to go play him a little bit higher, it creates more space for his drives, and it makes him even more difficult to guard. It improves our team distribution from the three-point line. But a lot of the other stuff is nuanced. It's some of the lessons from last season. Inside the actions, continuing to be good off the ball, which he's great. Transition, cutting, his defense is something we don't take for granted with how hard he competes, the matchups he can take. So that's a few things.
We've seen a pretty incredible level of humility from a variety of guys on just being willing to work on different. Shea could rest on his laurels, but doesn't. He comes back and is better every year. Lou, sort of with his restraint, Ooze adjusting things. What strikes you about that dynamic within the team in terms of the level of humility?
Well, I think, it's a high level coming in the door. I think it's a credit to Sam and the scouts, and they do exhaustive work on these guys, whether it's in the draft or pro scouting. The guys in the NBA to really understand the person and understand. One of the things that I think is invisible is they're in the building right now. They're interacting with the chefs in the back and our PTs when they travel. You're spending a lot of time together that you're not playing basketball, and so having people that are like-minded and that like being around each other, that are respectful professionals, it matters. It stacks, and so we've got that. We're very fortunate. Like I said yesterday, somebody asked about Shea. It puts everybody that works here in a position of strength when the team is a bunch of good people that are willing to earn what they get.
Mark, I know telling people to shoot more threes is kind of like a broad point of emphasis. I mean, maybe it just comes with the times, but besides Dub, is there anyone specifically you're hoping shoots more threes this season?
I think the guys, like anything else. I think you kind of let the efficiency tell you who can handle more, and when a guy's doing something efficiently, that's usually a good sign that you can stretch them a little more. You can increase the challenge point. So a guy like Wiggins that's shot 40% plus for 2 straight seasons, he was close to 50 last year. If he wasn't 50, he can handle more volume. And remain efficient. So he's just one example, but we use that kind of framework when we look at any player. That was how Dub was. He was kind of just a system player when he started as a rookie, and he was just so efficient, and he was so he used his possession so well. It was like, all right, this guy probably warrants a little bit more. And once they clear those hurdles, you just keep putting the next hurdle in front of them until they kind of tell you where their game settles in. And I think the same thing goes for shooting. And we have a few guys like that obviously have shot it well on really good selection, and now we're encouraging a little bit more aggressiveness.
Sam mentioned how you win in the playoffs with the past, but also mentioned how that's something that's going to have to play out throughout experiences and throughout the season. How do you put an emphasis on that to start the season in training camp?
I mean, our emphasis in training camp, basketball is such a complex game. You have to be good at so many things to be a good team that we emphasize everything. It's like, and the things we've been good at, we don't rest on. You start over, and it's a new team, and we don't have this particular team doesn't have any habits built for this season yet. And so we go right back to the bottom, to base camp, on everything, things we've done well and the things we have to improve. And that's what camp's about. And then you go play the games, and the games start to give you feedback on the things that are strong that you need to maintain and the things that are lagging that you need to improve. And in a way, that's unpredictable year to year. And so we're trying to remain very open to what that is, but we definitely don't take anything for granted in camp. We're working on everything.
You have coaches come in year after year during training camp. I assume that they're trying to get things from you, but also assume that you're picking from them. How does that help you as a coach?
I mean, first of all, we're really grateful that people come in and take the time. Seeing what jumps out to them, because they're not here, they're not in the bubble of our groupthink, so the questions they have are insightful, because if they have those questions, maybe our players have those questions. They also kind of, in a way, the way that they're asking a question or the things that they're noticing can point out what the points of emphasis are on our end. So we learn from that. We can take from everywhere. A lot of our summer is, turning over every rock to try to figure out if there's advantages. And we try to spend time with them. I mean, they're good basketball people, and everybody's team's different, so they've figured out ways to be resourceful, and we certainly try to learn as much as we can in that process.
Mark, you just mentioned, with Dub and a guy like Wiggs, just seeing last season and kind of going from there in terms of efficiency and what they can handle. Just watching Shea last season, I know he's been kind of more or less the same player for some time, but watching him last season, what does that tell you about what more he can handle, maybe where he dials back? Like, what are you seeing there?
I mean, he's at a point now. First of all, he's in the driver's seat of his own development. I've said that many times. He's not riding shotgun, and so we give him a lot of autonomy. We're not micromanaging his development because he does such a good job of self-assessing and working with great intention in the off seasons and even in season. So a lot of the stuff, really the last 2 or 3 years that we've talked to him about has been more team oriented. Most of my conversations with him are less about how he's playing and what he's doing, and more about the team and what the team needs to do. Because I think great players, and he is a great player, do reach a certain threshold where it becomes as much about that as it does about their own individual game. Their ability to be contagious inside the team, their ability to make the team better. He's obviously proven that he can do that, but that's the direction of a lot of our conversations.
And Chet was just here saying that this team doesn't exactly have a Kevin Garnett, just in terms of that fiery personality, that very loud, vocal person. Just how have you seen him, maybe shoulder some of that responsibility and try to be more vocal since he's been here?
Yeah, everybody's competitive personality is different. We're not trying to ask anybody to be something that they're not. I would say Cason Wallace is a fierce competitor and doesn't say a word. Dort is a fierce competitor, doesn't say a word. Chet, more extroverted. Caruso, more extroverted. Dub, obviously, more extroverted. So we want them to be the best of what they can be, and we're not trying to. They don't need to be anybody else, and they don't need to be something that they're not. They just need to be a great competitor, and however they do that, they can do it.
With Chet, last one for Coach. With Chet, when he is being vocal, what does that look like from your point of view?
Well, that position, and Hartenstein, one of the things that stood out to me about him, and Jay Will's like this too, those guys are really, really verbal players, and defensively especially, that position probably has to be the most vocal position on the court. And all three of those guys do a great job of that. Chet, is always talking on the court. He's always communicating. He's always quarterbacking on the defensive end. Jay Will is a very bold communicator in his coverages, and Hartenstein, when we play against them, he's calling out when I call a play, he's echoing the call to the team and barking out orders, at a high level. The best big I've seen do that before that was DeAndre Jordan used to do that really well, especially when he was on the Clippers. He would quarterback back there. And so all three of those guys, their verbal communication is really, really impactful, especially on the defensive end.